Hey, this is Joe Adragna from the Junior League, and you're listening to Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Hello, everyone. This is the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. My name is Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini, your host. You can find us on the internet at LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com, where we are at this time, at this point in history, putting out 2 interviews a week. The music podcast that many of you have asked about is returning and may even be up by the time this airs. So I want you to know all about that. That is LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. You can check us out there on the web when you get a chance. I have a great artist on the line today. It's the Junior League with Joe Adragna, and we're going to talk to Joe here in a minute. But I'd like to thank my longtime sponsor first, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, pplmag.com. It's Pittsburgh's first internet radio, TV network, online magazine, and business directory. It's a great place to read articles, grab coupons, find businesses. If you have a message that you want to put out to the world there, you can even get your own magazine page. There is something like 1 million visitors or so to pplmag.com every month. So it is definitely a place to get seen and heard. So you definitely want to check that out. That is pplmag.com. All right, now I've got Joe Adragna on the line here with from the band, the project, the Junior League. Now, the Junior League brings to life the noteworthy indie pop sound for your ears. The Junior League oozes 60s-oriented pop with a modern twist, creating music that is both unique and familiar. Heavily influenced by such artists as the Beatles, the Monkees, the Who, Sloan, the Lemonheads, and beyond, the Junior League creates a dose of nostalgia for the modern times. Joe Adragna, welcome to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem, buddy. Now, tell us a little bit about. Let's go back because we don't know. We don't know you, so give us a little bit of a background. Like, how did you get started in music?
Well, I had bands in the '90s through college. I was playing around, and I had a band that was moderately successful in Florida, and that broke up. And then I moved to the New Orleans area, and I just kind of thought, well, I was going to make a record. I was like, well, I really want to make a record where I just play everything myself and just kind of do it for once. It was like a one-off thing that I was going to do this, and I had so much fun doing it, and the record came out really well, and it did okay. So I just kept going, and I used this band name, the Junior League, because I like band names, and that's it. And that's basically, I just kept doing it. Honestly, it was kind of meant to be a one-off that I just kept going because I enjoyed it so much, and I'm still doing it.
How long is the Junior League? What year did the Junior League project get started then?
Well, I suppose 2003 is when I started like recording stuff, demoing and doing all this stuff, and I didn't play a show though until 2004 or 5 here. I'd actually, it's funny because I went and saw the -5 play, and I just was so enthused by seeing them and so jazzed up. That made me like kind of give me a kick in the pants, and I said, okay, I've got to do this. And so that's when I started really in earnest playing and doing that. So the first record actually didn't come out until 2006, though. I started recording in 2005, so around that time.
Tell us, because I want to talk about the -5 as well, because you're involved with that project. But let's talk a little bit more about influences and songwriting, so people can kind of get the sort of landscape, the soundscape, if you will, of where you're coming from. Tell us about that, your influences.
Well, first and foremost, I guess the Beatles, because I'm an absolute Beatle maniac. I love the Beatles. I've loved them since I was a kid. I literally, like when I was a kid, I used to play, a lot of people probably won't remember, but Carvel, I don't know if they have those by where you are, but Carvel ice cream, they used to have cake toppers, right, with the Beatles. Like they had like Beatles cake toppers. I used to play with those. Like I used to move them around to the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl record. That's how young I was, And so I just, the Beatles were hugely important to me, and the Monkees and the Who. And I loved 60s and 50s pop music. My dad listened to a lot of doo-wop and Buddy Holly and things like that. And my mom was really into music. So I just kind of I just loved that stuff and listened to it and obsessed over it. And as soon as I could read stuff, I was reading about it. And so all that music was kind of like the basis. And it wasn't like, I guess around the 80s is when I first heard like the Smiths or R.E.M. and that kind of, and the Buzzcocks and things like that. And so then that became part of the vocabulary. And but I'm just a big geek fan. I really am. I just, I still sit around and listen to records pretty much all the time. And that's just, honestly, I write and play because I love music so much, and all that kind of music really inspired me a whole lot.
I would take it. I understand that, or am I to understand that you sing and you play the guitar is like your instrument primarily?
Well, actually, my first instrument was the drums. I grew up playing the drums. But I on the records, I basically play everything myself, and I have friends come in and help me out. So like, I might play like the basic tracks of bass drum and guitar and maybe some keys or whatever, but then I have my friends will pop in and help me because, I'm not that great. I mean, I'm good enough to do things like, okay. Well, no, I'm being honest, I'm a good drummer. That's probably my best instrument, but like, and I've got much more talented friends who help me out and make the songs sound way better, which I'm very fortunate for. But that's basically the way I do it.
So when you started playing music, did songwriting? You said you started with the drums. So did songwriting then kind of come a little bit later on, or when did you start writing songs?
For real, probably in the early '90s. I mean, before that, I would make up songs and like, poems and things like that. Like when you're a kid, I used to like throw a ball against the garage door, little songs, and they probably all sounded like really bad Beatle rewrites, or you know what I mean? Like I would make up fake band names and like draw fake covers, and I was just like a real geek. I just like would sit around and do stuff. But like as far as really sitting down and writing like a decent song, or at least something approximating a decent song, would probably be like the early '90s. I would imagine, or the late '80s.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we all did that. Joe, we all did the same thing. Drew band names up on our notebooks and made up stuff. Yeah, my former co-host from the music podcast, he and I, we're in high school. We would like, make up bands, and he was a really talented artist, and he would draw like, this is what we're going to look like on stage and stuff. So it's more common than you might realize.
It's great,
us
though,
music
right?
nerds,
Right.
Yeah.
It's great, though. I mean, it's a great way to pass the time. A pen, a paper, and an imagination, and there off you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that gets you excited. So how many records now does the Junior League have out?
5, I think. Like Catch You, Smile, Shoot, Smile. I'm counting them now. Catch You, Smile, Shoot, Smile, Fallback, You Should Be Happy. I've got like a digital only comp, and this new one also ran. So I guess 5 original records and then one like kind of compilation of the first 5.
Oh, okay.
4, excuse me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've had it long enough to do a best of.
Well, I mean, I hesitate to call. I really kind of wanted to just kind of throw a bunch of the songs together for the heck of it, just to see how they all hung together, and that's why I did it.
Okay, that's cool. So we're going to go ahead. We're in a minute here. We're going to go ahead and play a song, but before I do that, tell us a little bit about. Let's talk about how do we do it? Let's talk about you have some of the guest artists, guest musicians on your latest record, including Jay Ferguson. Tell us about those guys and how these people kind of got involved with it.
Okay, well, you mentioned Jay. Jay is in the band Sloan, who are one of the greatest bands of all time ever, and he's an extremely great guy. I met him. I was a Sloan fan. I am a Sloan fan. I met him at a show back in the late '90s, and we wound up, talking about music. We had a lot in common, and we exchanged addresses, and we kept in touch, and he became a friend. And he checked on me and said, "Hey, you're recording. How's it going?" And I said, "Oh, I got the song." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'll check it out." And then he, of course, came up with this beautiful keyboard part on it, and that became on and off, or on off. So he's a great guy. I just respect him tremendously. And my friend Scott McCoy, who's in the -5 and Young Fresh Fellows, and he was in R.E.M. He and a bunch of other bands, Tired Pony, Young Fresh. I mean, he's everywhere. He and I have been friends for a while. Again, I was a huge fan of his. The -5 was just very, very important to me. He's an amazing arranger and songwriter, and he has been very, very generous with helping me out with songs and adding like beautiful stuff to the songs. On the last record, he put stuff on Stars in Our Eyes and Please I Need You To, which was fabulous, and it's unbelievable that he would do that. Boz Bohr, who was in the Polecats, and he plays in Morrissey's band, he played guitar and keyboards and percussion on the song. He's another pal of mine. And my brother-in-law, who's my friend first, he's my brother-in-law now, J.J. Murphy, who's in a New York City band called the Shambles. He was also in the Roebucks. He and I had played in bands together before. We've written songs together before, so we worked on a couple songs together, and he played a bunch of stuff. And last but not least, Denny Bonet, who is a fabulous string player / arranger. She's worked with a number of people. She added beautiful strings to a song called The Long Goodbye. So I've been like extremely fortunate that I've had people that I care about and I also respect immensely. I really do. Like, I can't believe they're on my record. You know what I mean? Because even though they're friends, I listen to their records and I'm just kind of like, oh my God, they're just the best, you know? No, I'm serious. And so I'm very, very, very fortunate. And I'm truly just kind of like, I can't believe what are they doing hanging around with me.
I guess it's like, Tom Petty, working with the Traveling Wilburys and getting to play with his heroes. So that's very awesome, man. Congratulations on that. The record is really good. I mean, every song you can kind of like find yourself like, after the first verse and chorus, like you kind of like, okay, I got this. And you're like singing along with it. And, so they're all really catchy tunes, man. So it's I can understand why they want to work with you. Let's go ahead and give our listeners a taste. We're going to go ahead and play the track On Off, and then we're going to come back and talk about the record, the latest record you have out. This is Junior League's latest single, On Off, on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. All right, On Off by the Junior League. That's Joe there handling most of the duties with some guests there. Tell us about the song On Off.
I had it written for a while, and I'd recorded it, like a demo of it, a long time ago, and it just kind of, I don't know, I put it on the shelf. I don't know why. I just didn't really do anything with it, but I liked the song, and then when I was recording this last record, I redid it, but it still needed something. I just had the bass and drums and the vocals, and I just kind of, I didn't know what to do with it. I really didn't know which way to go, and Jay, as I said earlier, he asked me, oh, how's it going? I said, well, I've got this song. And I sent it to him, and he put on that awesome, the Rhodes keyboard, and they put that wonderful piano lick on there as well. And he made the song. I mean, it was great, and I was really excited. Then I put a guitar on there, and off it went. I think it's that part too sounds very much like something he would do, of course, which makes sense because it's him. But I think it really helped the song out tremendously, and it sounds pretty good, I think.
Oh, no, it sounds really good. It sounds fantastic. Now, what is your sort of approach with the songwriting? Because, I mean, damn it, man, every song is just so catchy. Is this just like something you've developed from, like, are you like writing constantly? I mean, how does the songwriting work for you?
I think basically I don't know, an idea will pop into my head and I'll just demo it. And usually the demo winds up being the track. Like I'm very impatient. I don't know. I wish I had more patience because I'd probably write better songs, but I have no patience. And so if I have an idea, I'll literally like put a scratch guitar down and then I'll just put drums on it and then I'm in. Like, and it's really not the best way to work, but I'll be honest with you, I wind up writing a lot of terrible songs, and then I have to whittle it down because I'll be like, I have 18 songs for the new record, and like, oh wait, 10 of them are terrible, so I have to kind of I have to whittle down, right, that's right, but I've got 9, they're okay, and then of course then it's like, hey Jay or Scott, can you help me? But no, a lot of times too, like it's just a matter of like, I'm trying to think of the way to say it. You're inspired by something. If I'm listening to an Every Mother's Son record, you know what I mean? I might all of a sudden want to write like a bunch of like really mid-60s sounding pop songs, or like listening to the Wendy and Bonnie Genesis record. That blew my mind. I guess like everything I wanted to do was like kind of in that, even if it doesn't wind up sounding like that. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like something like, I'll be like, oh, I want to make something that sounds sad like that. And so it won't sound anything like I was into, but it winds up coming out okay, So yeah, I'm just excited by stuff, to be honest.
Well, so what happens is you hear that stuff, and it sort of gets through your filter, the Joe filter, you know. And so when it comes out the other side, it comes out something that's unique, you know. So,
thank you.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about the -5 for a minute. Now, tell us about that band, because you play with these guys, right?
Yeah. On occasion, I do. Yes. Well, you know, as I say, all right. So I have to go back a little bit and tell you how I met Scott, because I was a fan, and he was playing in New Orleans, and I went early. I actually went early and hung out, and I met him, and I met Peter Buck at the same time, and I met John Ramberg, who were all in the -5, and we went record shopping. I was that much of a geek. I was so excited. I was like, okay, this is great. And I wound up talking to Scott, and he's the nicest person on the face of the planet. He really is. He's an incredibly wonderful guy. And we just kind of kept in touch via email and stuff. And out of the blue, I got an email from him. You know, it wasn't out of the blue. I mean, we emailed, but I got an email from him asking, oh, hey, do you want to play drums? I'm going to be in New Orleans opening for Jeff Tweedy. And, you know, I was like, yeah, sure, you know. And I was like, I was actually in the studio recording my second The Small She Small record. And so I remember I got home, and I don't even think I ever told Scott this, but I moved my drums to the closet. I don't know why I did this. I just thought maybe I had to concentrate, and I just practiced for 3 weeks, and because it was just going to be him and I. And so, like, I wanted it to be, like, I had to know exactly what I was going to do and what percussion I was going to use, and I worked really hard. And we got to this gig, and then I'm playing, and I forgot that everything I practiced, but basically it didn't matter because Scott's songs are so great that you really can't screw them up, you know. But that of course,
that's a great story.
Well, it is. It's great. And then we played together a bunch of times, and he's been so kind to ask me to play drums in the -5, and he's asked me to play on some of the records, and I feel incredibly fortunate because, again, he's my friend, but he's somebody that I have the utmost respect for. I really do. And so I kind of pinch myself that I can't believe he'd allow me to mess up his songs, like play on them. He's great, though.
How does this work then? Because you have all these different guest artists, and you're guesting on people's records. Are you like going to where they are and recording, or are they just sending you the stuff and you're sending them your stuff and they're recording it in everybody's recording in their respective studios? How does it typically work?
That's exactly, you nailed it on the head. That's exactly how it works. I record my stuff here, and then I'll send files to my friends, and they'll overdub their bits and send them back. And so then then obviously put them together, and that's that. So a lot of times I'll just have to send, like, an MP3, let's say, of a rough track, and then Scott or Boz or whoever will like overdub their parts, and then send me the individual tracks, and then I'll put them into the session. And it's great. Pro Tools, I mean, it's an unbelievable way to work. I don't have to leave home, and they, obviously they all live far. All my friends live far away from me, so I can't.
Yeah.
I can't just pop around the corner and say, hey, let's do something. So I'm very fortunate too that they all have setups that they can do that, and they're willing to take the time to do that. It's very generous.
Sweet. So are you playing live as the Junior League?
Yes, I do. I play, in the New Orleans area where I'm based out of. I play New York occasionally. I'll play wherever I can, but like I don't tour or anything like that a lot because it's difficult for one. I don't really have a band. When I play here, I have friends in other bands in the area that will, I've learned the songs and they'll play with me. Again, I'm very grateful for their help, and we're all buddies. Like I'll play drums in some of their bands, and so that's the way it'll work here. And if I go to New York, I have friends up there. They're like, okay, I'll play with you. Or my brother-in-law, JJ, who co-wrote a couple songs with me and played on some of the songs. He lives in New York, and so he'll always play drums or bass. He's another guy who plays a couple different instruments. So I'm lucky in that sense that if I wanted to play somewhere, I could just find guys that would, pop in with me and learn the songs. So I don't play like a ton, but I do play, yes.
When you perform, are you on guitar, or are you on keyboards, or are you on drums? Like, because obviously you're singing. So what do you typically do?
I play guitar.
You play guitar when you play live. Okay.
And once in a while, I've had to play drums and sing because drummer seems to be the hardest thing to find when you're you know what I mean, if you're in a situation like mine. But I don't really enjoy playing drums and singing unless I'm playing. I have a Monkees cover band. I love doing it in that, because I like to pretend I'm Mickey, because who wouldn't want to pretend they're Mickey Dolenz? He's awesome. But I generally play guitar and sing, yeah.
What I think is so interesting about you, Joe, and so like kind of what's the word that I want when something what's kind of contagious is your enthusiasm for the music that you love. You know, it kind of so you're making me when we hang up the phone want to go back and listen to the Lemonheads and Sloan and and these bands. You know, you're getting me kind of like all excited. So that's a very powerful thing, and I'm really glad that you shared that with us. What does the next 6 to 12 months look like for you? What do you have planned?
Well, let's see. That's interesting. I don't really know. I'm actually recording. I'm recording another record right now. Actually, I'm working on new stuff. So I've got that going on. I'm setting up a couple dates here and there. And that's basically it. Honestly, I'm just trying to get people to check out Also Rans and hopefully play a couple shows to promote that and and just whatever pops up. Really, I mean, I keep it fairly open so that I can do whatever it is I feel like doing at any given time, which sounds selfish, but I don't mean it to sound like that. It's just, I have the ability to do that. So what the heck,
Yeah, for sure. So you're writing like constantly pretty much. And so we could probably expect maybe another record for you, maybe in 2017 or maybe this year?
No, 100%. No, I was thinking this year, but then I realized, hey, don't. I don't really have. I have to learn to have a better filter, and I just kind of immediately start to think, oh well, no, I've got all these songs written. I'm going to record them. I'm going to do it. I really do want to take my time and just wait until next year and put something else out, even though I'm working on stuff now. So next year, definitely 100%, I'm going to have another record out for sure. And I might even, I love the idea of putting out an EP or something like that. So maybe by the end of the year, if I get really itchy, I'll do something like that, but definitely next year for sure.
This is the point in the interview where you get to just tell everybody out there how they can follow you. Also, what you would like them to know about the Junior League that maybe we haven't covered.
Okay. Well, I'm on, let's see, Facebook, which I think is, if you look up the Junior, I think it's the JR League, or the Junior League NOLA, I think it is. The Junior League NOLA, www.facebook.com/the Junior League NOLA. I have a website, www.thejrleague, THEJRLEAGUA.com. Twitter @thejuniorleague. I'm trying to think if I've missed any other media. It's so crazy. You have all these addresses, You can. I know that people want, if they want physical copies of Also Rans, they can go through Cool Cat Music. They're exclusively handling the physical discs. Or iTunes or Amazon, any of those websites, you can get it there if you want it digitally. And what was the other? Anything I wanted to say about the Junior League?
Yeah. What do you want to tell people about this this project you have?
Well, I'd like them to check it out. Please, listen, see if you like it. And also, honestly, not only, I hope that people like what I do, but I also hope that, I think everybody should listen to, I wanted to say two other things. The last -5 record, Dungeon Gold, is amazing. And there's going to be another -5 record coming out this year in August, called Of Monkeys and Men, that everybody should check out. Sloan, One Chord to Another, they put out a box set of that record, which is one of my favorite records of all time, so check that out. And as far as the Junior League is concerned, as I say, please check out Also Rans. I think if you like that other stuff, you might like this. And again, I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen,
Can you hang on the line for a second? We're going to finish the podcast, but I want to ask a bonus question that will go out just to my subscribers. You got a minute?
Oh, of course. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Hey, thanks,
Thank
Joe.
You. All right,
course,
thank you.
Sure, no problem. Guys, you're listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. My talk here with Joe Adragna from the Junior League. You can go to, one more time, let me give you their website again. That is thejrleague.com. It's a great record. Also Rans, ALSORANS. It's so good. It's just you're going to find yourself singing along, and the lyrics are great. There's some really cool turns of phrases there, so definitely check that out. LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com is where you can go to catch up with everything we have going on. If you like bands like the Junior League and Jack Berry and Vaccine and Flying Joes and all these amazing acts that I have just been so blessed to meet over the past year or so, you want to go to supportindierock.com, where you can get involved with our efforts to blow this thing up, blow these bands up, get more and more information out about them to more and more people. That is supportindierock.com. One more shout out to my wonderful and long-time and long-suffering sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine. That is pplmag.com. Go there, check them out. This is the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, and that website is loudinirockandrollcircus.com. Guys, thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.